the frostbitten winter of 1971, the old farmhouse on Round Top Road in Harrisville, Rhode Island, stood silent under a heavy blanket of snow. The Perron family had just moved into the 1736 colonial, hoping for a fresh start in the countryside. They didn't know the house, later called the Conjuring House, had secrets stitched into its walls. Secrets that pulsed in the shadows of room 999. Carolyn Perron noticed it first. The second-floor bedroom, tucked at the end of a creaking hallway, wasn't on any blueprint they'd seen. The door was unmarked, its paint chipped like peeling skin, and the air around it felt thick, as if time itself slowed when you passed. The kids called it Room 999, a half-joking name that stuck after Cindy, the eldest daughter, swore she saw the number flicker on the door one night, glowing faintly before vanishing. By February, strange things began. At night, the family heard footsteps pacing outside room 999, heavy and deliberate, like boots on hardwood, though no one was there. The air grew colder the closer you got to the door, and a faint smell of damp earth and decay lingered, no matter how much Carolyn scrubbed. Roger, the stubborn patriarch, dismissed it as old house quirks, but even he couldn't explain the bruises on his arms, small, finger-shaped marks that appeared after he tried locking the door. One night, 12-year-old Andrea, curious and defiant, slipped out of bed. She'd heard whispers coming from room 999, like a child's voice mixed with something deeper, guttural. Armed with a flashlight, she crept down the hall. The door was ajar, though Roger swore he'd bolted it. Inside, the room was impossibly dark, the beam of her light swallowed by the shadows. A mirror hung on the far wall, its surface cloudy, reflecting nothing but a faint outline of a figure, a woman in a tattered dress, her face blurred except for hollow eyes. Andrea froze as the whispers grew louder, chanting her name. The temperature plummeted, her breath visible in the air. Something brushed her shoulder, cold and deliberate, like fingers trailing down her spine. She stumbled back, the door slamming shut behind her. The family found her the next morning, curled up in the hall, muttering about the lady in 999 who wanted her to stay. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famed paranormal investigators, arrived weeks later. They sensed it immediately. Room 999 wasn't just haunted, it was a doorway. The entity, they said, was Bathsheba Sherman, a woman rumored to have killed her own child in the 1800s, her spirit bound to the house in a pact with something darker. Bathsheba didn't just haunt, she hungered. The room was her anchor, a place where the veil between worlds was thin, where she could reach through and claim the living. The Warrens tried a seance in room 999, but it backfired. Objects flew, glass shattered, and Carolyn collapsed, her eyes rolling back as she spoke in a voice not her own. "Leave or join me." The family fled the house soon after, but not before Cindy saw the woman in the mirror again, smiling, her hand pressed against the glass as if reaching out. Today, the Conjuring House is a tourist attraction, open for ghost hunts and overnight stays. Room 999 remains, its door still unmarked, still cold to the touch. Visitors report feeling watched, hearing their names whispered, or seeing a woman's face in the mirror, her eyes pleading or promising. Some say if you stand in the room at midnight, you'll feel her breath on your neck, her voice asking you to stay forever. In Harrisville, locals don't talk much about the house, but they'll tell you one thing: never open that door alone, because in room 999, Bathsheba's still waiting. The snow had melted by spring, but the chill in the Conjuring House lingered, especially around room 999. The Perron family was gone, their belongings left scattered as if they'd fled in the night. The old farmhouse on Round Top Road sat empty, its windows dark. But the stories about room 999 spread like wildfire through Harrisville. Locals whispered of a room that didn't belong, a place where time twisted and the air tasted of ash. By 1980, the house had new owners, a young couple, Mark and Ellen Hayes, who laughed off the rumors, eager to renovate and reclaim the colonial's charm. They didn't laugh for long. Ellen was the first to notice room 999. Tucked at the end of the second-floor hallway, its door was different, older, heavier, with a rusted knob that resisted turning. The number 999 wasn't carved or painted. faded, but it shimmered faintly in the grain of the wood when the light hit just right, like a trick of the eye. Mark, a contractor, scoffed at the idea of a cursed room. He planned to gut room 999 first, turn it into a nursery for the baby they hoped to have. But the room had other plans. The first night, Ellen woke to a low hum coming from room 999, like a lullaby sung in reverse. She followed the sound, barefoot, the floorboards ice cold under her feet. The door was cracked open, though Mark had locked it hours before. Inside room 999, the air was thick, heavy with that same damp earth smell the parents had described. The mirror on the far wall, cloudy, ancient, reflected nothing but shadows. Yet Ellen swore she saw movement, a flicker of a woman's silhouette, her dress tattered, her hands claw-like. The hum stopped, replaced by a whisper, "Stay with me." Ellen ran, slamming the door, but the voice followed, echoing in her skull. Mark didn't believe her until he tried working in room 999. His tools went missing, only to reappear in the center of the room, arranged in a perfect circle. Hammers slipped from his grip, and nails bent as if pushed by invisible hands. One afternoon, he pried up a floorboard in room 999 and found a small, brittle bundle wrapped in cloth. Child's bones, tied with twine, stained with something dark. That night, the couple heard scratching from inside the walls of room 999, slow and deliberate, like fingernails carving a message. Mark boarded up the door, vowing to never enter again. But room 999 didn't stay sealed. The boards were found splintered each morning, the door ajar, the mirror inside gleaming as if polished. Ellen started sleepwalking, waking up inside room 999, standing before the mirror, her hands pressed against the glass. She'd mutter about Bathsheba's promise, her voice not quite her own. Mark called a priest who refused to step foot in room 999 after feeling a pressure on his chest, like hands squeezing his ribs. A psychic, brought in desperation, said the room wasn't just haunted, it was alive, a heart pumping with Bathsheba's malice, feeding on fear to grow stronger. One night, Ellen disappeared. Mark found her in room 999, staring into the mirror, a reflection missing. The woman in the tattered dress stood behind her in the glass, smiling, her hollow eyes locked on Mark. Ellen turned, her face blank, and whispered, "She says it's my turn." Mark grabbed her, dragging her out as the door slammed shut, the lock clicking on its own. They left that night, abandoning everything. The house went quiet again, but room 999 never did. Now in 2025, the Conjuring House draws thrill seekers. Its tours booked solid. Room 999 is a highlight, though guides warn against lingering. Some visitors claim their phones die inside, capturing only static where photos should be. Others hear the hum, the whispers, or feel a cold hand brush their neck. A few swear they've seen the number 999 glow on the door, pulsing like a heartbeat. The mirror still hangs, unblemished, reflecting nothing, or sometimes a woman's face, watching, waiting. In room 999, Bathsheba's promise lingers, and those who enter feel it. The room wants you to stay, always. By 2025, the Conjuring House had become a pilgrimage for paranormal enthusiasts, its legend fueled by podcasts, viral videos, and whispered tales of room 999. The old farmhouse on Round Top Road creaked under the weight of its history, but room 999 was its dark heart, a place where the air seemed to hum with hunger. The new caretakers, a skeptical historian named Rachel Voss and her brother Ethan, a tech-savvy ghost hunter, bought the property to study it, not believing the hype. They installed cameras, motion sensors, and EMF detectors, determined to debunk the myths of room 999. But the room had its own agenda. Rachel noticed the anomalies first. Every camera pointed at room 999 failed, spitting out static or shutting off entirely. The door, still unmarked but faintly shimmering with that ghostly 999, refused to stay locked. Ethan, cocky and armed with gadgets, spent hours in room 999 recording audio. His EVPs captured whispers, fragments of a woman's voice saying, "Mine now," or never leave. At night, the siblings heard footsteps circling room 999, not from the hallway, but from inside the walls, like something pacing, waiting. One stormy October night, Rachel decided to confront room 999 alone. She'd read the Perrin and Hayes accounts, dismissed them as hysteria, but couldn't shake the unease that clung to her in that room. Armed with a notebook and a flashlight, she stepped inside. The air was heavy, the smell of damp earth sharper than ever. The mirror on the far wall gleamed, its surface rippling like water. Rachel's reflection was there, but distorted, her eyes too wide, her mouth stretched into a grin she didn't make. Behind her, in the glass, stood the woman in the tattered dress, Bathsheba, her face a blur of hollow sockets and jagged teeth. The whisper came, not from the room, but inside Rachel's head. "You're home." Rachel tried to leave, but the door wouldn't budge, the knob frozen. The temperature plunged, her breath clouding as the mirror pulsed, Bathsheba's image growing clearer. The entity's voice grew louder, a chorus now, chanting. Rachel's flashlight flickered, then died. In the dark, she felt cold fingers trace her spine, slow and possessive. She screamed, pounding the door until Ethan, woken by the noise, broke it open with an axe. He found Rachel trembling, her skin icy, muttering about the mirror and her eyes. Ethan, rattled but defiant, rigged a live stream in room 999 the next night, broadcasting to thousands of followers. He sat in the center, taunting Bathsheba, daring her to show herself. The stream glitched, but viewers later swore they saw a shadow move behind him, a woman's silhouette flickering in the mirror. Ethan's equipment sparked, and the feed cut out. When it resumed, he was gone. Rachel found him hours later, locked inside room 999, staring blankly at the mirror, his hands bleeding from clawing at the glass. He whispered, "She's in me," before passing out. The siblings left the house, but room 999's grip lingered. Rachel dreams of the mirror, seeing Bathsheba's face where her own should be. Ethan, now quiet and haunted, refuses to speak of that night. The house remains open, drawing crowds who test their courage in room 999. Some leave with stories of whispers or cold touches, others nothing. But the mirror never changes, its surface waiting, reflecting only what Bathsheba allows. Guides now lock room 999 at midnight, claiming it's for safety. They don't mention the scratches that appear on the door by morning, or the faint, glowing 999 that no one can paint over. In that room, Bathsheba's voice still whispers, patient, eternal, calling for someone new to claim. By late 2025, the farmhouse had become a global sensation, its infamy amplified by Ethan's glitched livestream and Rachel's haunted blog posts, which detailed the mirror's pull and Bathsheba's whispers. The property was now managed by a paranormal research group led by Dr. Sarah Klein, a psychologist obsessed with proving hauntings were mass hysteria. She saw room 999 as a challenge, a puzzle to unravel with science. Her team, 4 researchers with cameras, thermal scanners, and a Ouija board they swore was just for data, set up camp in the house, determined to tame room 999. They didn't know the room was already watching. The first night, Sarah stationed herself in room 999, her laptop streaming live to a university server. The door, with its faint, flickering 999, creaked open despite being bolted. The air inside was thick, the familiar stench of damp earth choking the room. Sarah's team noted the temperature dropping to 40 degrees, though the rest of the house stayed warm. The mirror, still hanging on the far wall, gleamed unnaturally, its surface rippling as if breathing. Sarah, unfazed, spoke into her recorder. No evidence of paranormal activity yet, but her breath fogged, and her shadow in the mirror moved before she did. By midnight, the team heard it, a low, rhythmic thumping from inside room 999's walls, like a heartbeat. Researcher Jake, a burly ex-Marine, laughed it off, but his thermal camera showed a humanoid shape behind the plaster, moving slowly toward the door. He tore at the wall, finding nothing but rot and a single, yellowed child's shoe, its laces knotted tight. That night, Jake dreamed of room 999, of standing before the mirror as Bathsheba's face emerged, her hollow eyes promising peace if he stayed. He woke inside the room, his hands pressed against the glass, his fingertips bloody. Sarah pressed on, dismissing Jake's episode as sleepwalking. She set up a motion-triggered speaker in room 999, programmed to play white noise to disrupt psychosomatic hallucinations. Instead, the speaker hissed with a woman's voice, chanting, "Mine, mine, mine," until it shorted out. The team's Ouija board, left untouched in the room, began moving on its own, spelling BATHSHEBA before the planchette flew into the mirror, cracking it. The crack sealed itself by morning, but the mirror's surface now showed faint scratches, like claw marks, from the other side. On the third night, Sarah stayed alone in room 999, determined to face the entity. She sat cross-legged before the mirror, her notebook open, challenging Bathsheba to show herself. The room grew silent, the heartbeat thumping, gone. Then the mirror pulsed, and Sarah's reflection twisted. Her face became Bathsheba's, with jagged teeth and eyes like voids. The voice came from everywhere. "You doubt me? Stay and see." Sarah's pen snapped in her hand, ink pooling like blood. She felt hands, cold, insistent, pulling her toward the mirror, her body inching closer despite her screams. Her team broke in just as her fingers touched the glass, yanking her back. The door slammed shut, the lock clicking as if mocking them. Sarah left the house the next day, her skepticism shattered, her hair streaked with gray. The research group abandoned their equipment, some of which still turns on at night, capturing whispers from room 999. The house remains open, its tours now limited to daylight after a guest vanished for hours, found muttering in room 999 about her face in the glass. The mirror stands untouched, its surface flawless, reflecting only what Bathsheba chooses. At night, the door to room 999 creaks open, and those who listen hear the heartbeat again, feel her eyes watching, waiting for someone new to answer her call. Winter 2026 cloaked the Conjuring House in ice, but room 999 burned with a restless energy. The farmhouse, now a magnet for the daring, drew Mia Torres, a YouTuber chasing fame with her Haunted USA series. Her crew, cameraman Leo and psychic Tara, arrived to live stream from room 999, ignoring warnings from Harrisville locals. Mia, all bravado, mocked the tales of Bathsheba and the mirror, vowing to spend a full night in the room. The door, its ghostly 999 pulsing faintly, seemed to welcome her. Inside, room 999 was suffocating, the air thick with damp earth. The mirror gleamed, its surface rippling like a dark pond. Leo's camera glitched, capturing only static, while Tara clutched her amulet, sensing a presence coiling around them. At midnight, the room grew frigid, the heartbeat thump echoing from the walls. Mia, live streaming to thousands, taunted, "Show yourself," the mirror answered. A shadow flickered, Bathsheba's hollow eyes staring back. Whispers filled the room, "Stay with me." Mia's laugh faltered as her reflection warped, her face merging with Bathsheba's jagged grin. Leo saw it first. Mia's shadow moved alone, reaching for the mirror. Tara screamed, "Don't touch it!" But Mia's hand pressed the glass, her eyes blank. The stream cut out, viewers reporting a woman's wail. Leo and Tara dragged Mia from room 999, her skin ice cold, muttering, "She's inside." The door slammed shut, the lock clicking. Mia hasn't spoken since, her gaze fixed on mirrors as if still seeing Bathsheba. Room 999 waits, its mirror hungry, whispering for the next soul to claim. The Conjuring House still stands on Round Top Road, its weathered boards whispering secrets to those who dare listen. Room 999 remains its dark core, a place where the veil is thin and Bathsheba's shadow lingers. The door, etched with that ghostly 999, opens for the bold, but the mirror inside holds the truth. Some who enter don't leave unchanged. Whispers echo, cold hands reach, and the air hums with a promise no one should accept. In Harrisville, they say room 999 isn't just haunted, it's alive, waiting for its next guest to stay forever. Dare to step inside, and you might hear her call your name. But once you do, room 999 never